In the first two official tests of the 2024 MotoGP season, we have seen the lap records for Sepang and Qatar absolutely obliterated. Yes, these lap records will be unofficial, as lap records can only stand during a Grand Prix weekend, but the point still stands. We are in that era of MotoGP where aerodynamics and the engine and everything is just coming together, and they are just so fast compared to what we have seen even 5 years ago. If you're a fan of F1, you'll remember when they made the regulation changes from 2016 cars to 2017 cars. Now the 2017 to the 2021 period for F1, the lap records that were set and held by some cars even far back as 2004 were absolutely obliterated. They were smashed. Downforce the cars had, the engines, the turbo, it was just insane. MotoGP is heading in that direction. Now, a lot of people don't like aerodynamics, and it gets to a point where you see certain bikes and you're like, how much can they push this out even more? But until the FIM, MotoGP, Dorna, whoever it is, then the teams decide that it gets to a point where it's too dangerous, the lap records are going to keep tumbling and tumbling. It could get to a point this year where we head to every single race, and if the conditions allow it, we will see every lap record of that circuit smashed. That is only a good thing. MotoGP is the pinnacle of motorcycle racing, and it needs to be progressing. But then it gets to a point, like I said, when does it become too dangerous and unsafe for the riders? Now, we have heard in the past about the aerodynamics and how the amount of dirty air when following can really affect riders when they're braking, and it sucks them in, they miss their braking point, and we could see a big accident. We nearly seen it last year with Alex Marquez at Mugello. It's the first thing that comes to mind. He went into turn 1, he was in a 2-3 bike slipstream, and he hit the brakes at the point where he usually would, but because of the dirty air and the slipstream, he had to dodge everybody. And it's when you see the replay of it, unfortunately we can't show it, we can only show screenshots. He was so close to hitting his brother, it would have been a terrible accident. And then even going back to the last round of last season, Jorge Martin, Pecco Bagnaia, they were first and second in the final race of the year. Martin hit the brakes at turn 1, he got sucked into Bagnaia's slipstream, and he nearly rear-ended and took him out. Martin ran on, and that was pretty much his race from there. He never recovered. A lot of people would want to go back to simplified aerodynamics. So if you remember the 2015 season, Ducati brought winglets, and they were quite tiny, but they were on the side of the bike, and it was quite a big thing for MotoGP. Then 2016 rolled around, every team started developing their own front winglets. It was quite tame. It wasn't the most appealing thing. But then in 2017, it started to change. Ducati were bringing new fairings every other weekend, and it was pretty much a free hit for everyone. And then regulation came in that they could only use 1 or 2 a season, and then it was capped to 1 change a season. But now, the level we are at, the testing for teams like Honda and Yamaha, they can get really creative with this. Meanwhile, it caps Ducati as they are in the top band of concessions. Aprilia and KTM can still do a bit of testing with aerodynamics, but it's not as much. But it just leads to the question, when is it too much? And when do we need to cap it? The bikes are so fast because the engines are the best engines. And in my opinion, the Ducati Desmos GT engine is the best engine in motorsport. The amount of horsepower it creates for a two-wheeled machine to go in a straight line. We've seen 350 plus kilometers. It's insane. It is just incredible. Then you get to the point for the 2024 bikes, and we're yet to see it this year, obviously. 2023, we got certain races where it was impossible to overtake, and that was because of the dirty air. The tires gave way, essentially, and there was no grip on the track for everyone, so they were just stuck in the positions that they were. When does the show become affected by this? And some people would say now that the show is boring. Personally, I think, certain tracks, certain temperatures, conditions, if you get a race like we've seen, maybe Austria last year, it wasn't really an exciting race. It can happen. It happens in every motorsport. But MotoGP has a product that is so superior, in my opinion, in terms of racing to, let's say, F1, that we can't afford to lose the essence of racing that we have and have had from the new era in 2016 when they went to the standard ECU, everyone using the same electronic package. It would be a shame to see that change. And it goes down the line even further. Is there going to be changes to engine capacity in a few years? We don't know. Would the FIM change the engine capacity back down to 800 cc's? I hope not. And hope we can keep the pinnacle and the best engines that MotoGP should have. We should have 1000cc engines in the top class of Grand Prix racing. But what happens this year? Is it going to be a Ducati dominated season? And this is a question a lot of people are asking after testing, of course. Ducati are the best team. They have the best bikes. I don't think it's going to affect the show. I think that this year we have, of course, Marc Marquez on a Ducati. And as we've said, and as my philosophy is, if you have the best riders and you put them on the best bikes, you'll get the best results. And I think it'll be so good to see Marquez go up against these Ducatis. Then it turns a lot of people off if the Ducatis are just winning all the time. But I don't agree with that. And I've said it before. It was like it before with Honda for many years. If you weren't on a factory Honda, and even in later years you weren't on a factory Yamaha, you had no chance of winning. KTM are still competitive. Aprilia are competitive. Yes, the Japanese manufacturers, Honda and Yamaha, are struggling. We will get back to the place where everyone can be competitive for race wins. I do believe that in a year or two time, it'll be like the 2020 season where we had so many different winners. 2016 we had so many different winners. But the factor is, these bikes are the best that they are. And whether it's not to everyone's taste, the aerodynamics, of course, have a big play in this. And they're so fast because of that now, the downforce that they create. Is MotoGP going through a phase now where they're so fast that the racing does get hampered by it? In a few years' time, or are you going to have to simplify it? But I do think, like I said at the start of the video, we are in the era that F1 were in with the 2017 to 2021 cars, where they're so fast, it's unbelievable because of the amount of downforce that they're able to create. And if it is for a few more years, it will be an era where we will see absolutely incredible lap times, and who doesn't want to see that when it's the pinnacle of motorsport, in my opinion. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to like this video as well. Follow us on social media for all the latest news. Head to Christ.net to find out the latest stories from the world of MotoGP, World Superbike, road racing, you name it, we've got it on there. And we will see you next time.